All right, now we get to see how the sausage is made, boys. Porsche 911 GT3 Cup 4.0 finishing touches being put together. Already have a custom build pretty much all set up. I'm just going to be collecting some data tonight with the default and then with the custom setup. Pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing you can do with the dampers. Can't switch the springs, just some ARB work. Camber angles. Diff, engine braking, which is important with the Porsche actually. So we're going to give the default a spin first, collect some data, see how it goes. Always got to remember to wear these goggles higher than I usually do so that it comes through okay. All right, defaults. Let's reduce the audio a little bit. This car is just like one of the best cars in AMS2 nowadays. Just rotates. Put the gas down. Continues to rotate just fine. I think I might struggle a little bit with understeer at high speed. Look at it just sliding. Hard slicks. Really great anti-lock brakes. I think the Porsche and Imola are match made in heaven, actually. This track has the corners that really helps the Porsche out. These 90 degree turns. Check my temps a little bit. Looks okay. You can hear the traction control kicking in. Just accelerate right over those curbs. Porsche gobbles it up. Now, Piratella is one of the corners that the Porsche should struggle with. Doesn't do really well there either. Aqua Minerale. But with some trail braking rotation, it does just fine there. Powering over the second chicane gives you a little bit more stability. Plants the car, or at least it plants a Porsche. Caught a touch of dirt there, not a big deal. I'm not looking for hot laps. Hot-ish laps. That's what I'm going for. It sounds ugly, but short shifting can give you a little bit of extra braking help, I think. That was ugly. Alright, so this is lap 3 of 3. I usually do 3 lap spins for these types of things. No brake bias rotation there. I should make up a lot of time there. That took that one really well. And I did. 2/10 up. 4/10 up. Five-tenths, 6/10. You can really get away with a lot of early acceleration with this car. It's fantastic. Okay. So looking at the tire temps, the left side looks a little bit hot in the rear. Same with the right, just a touch. 7 degrees difference between the front and the rear. I don't like to see it that much after just 3 laps. But this is a symmetrical build, so you'll see stuff like this. It's pretty much relying heavily on the rear end rotation there. That's what the Porsche usually does, but you don't want to get it to be too hot. Let's take a look at some data. And I forgot to register the gold tank data. Oh boy, let's do it again. That's the way the cookie crumbles. All right. Snafu. One thing about telemetry is you got to have it running before you start the run. Happens all the time. But at least I'm warmed up now, so I'll get some good data. Let's try this again. There's that understeer that we know and love. Already 7 degrees difference. That's not going to help it. See how the back end just wants to come out? It's fun to drive, but it's not good with the tires. Man, it really likes that early corner rotation, though, that's for sure. This car is fantastic. And that's a Porsche thing, man. That's how you drive the Porsches. Touch late, ABS saved me. Again, touch late. You can get a lot of track on that part up here at Tella without getting a... Now it's like corners like that where brake bias will hurt you. On the brakes like any other time and the front decided to dig in. And the back end starts coming out. That's brake bias rotation. Again, right there, that little snap. You really have to have the car in a straight line to get away with that type of brake bias rotation. So one of the things I did change was the brake bias on this. I'm pretty sure. I don't really like that sensation all too much. It forces into like deliberate kind of driving style, which you can't really do when you're trying to push. Because we're trying to push, you know, you're putting the car in some really strenuous situations, especially with other cars on track around you. So always having to be in a straight line when you're braking and not jinking and moving or trying to avoid somebody. I'm not sure if these laps were faster than the other ones. I don't think they were. Right there. And then probably changed gears too early there too. So this is a mediocre. Yeah, it's not really loving this part. Not many cars like that part, that entry to those corners, the Ravazza bends. All right, so now we should have some data. I'd be shocked if we didn't. Again, the temps are about 6 or 7 degrees off. And yes, we do have some data, so let's give it a look. All right, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at Looking at the differential here. You can see at the top graph here, you're getting a lot away with a lot of ABS. These kind of jagged, the jagged ups and downs. That's ABS kicking in, right? So you can see how that makes an impact there. So that's working around 30% slip. And then for traction control, can't really see if there's much traction control going on. I don't think so. I'm not even sure if this car has traction control. Do you have traction control? Tell me, girl, you got traction? Nope, it does not have traction control. So I didn't see any jagged edges, but you'd see similar kind of things in the data, like here, down here on the red here, which is the throttle. You'd see like jagged edges too. I didn't feel any. Actually, we did hear the sound of it though, didn't we, when we were hitting some of the corners, the curbs, I should say. So right around here is where I remember hearing it. Interesting. I don't see any indication of traction control, but I did hear the, maybe I was just hitting the limiter. Usually sometimes it just sounds like it hits the limiter, but whatever. Nevertheless, taking a look at the tire wear, seems to be pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good wear. What you're looking for is all-around wear. Depending on the track, in Imola, you'll get less wear on the front left. It just doesn't work as hard as the other tires. This is a symmetrical build, so there's ways you can probably get more work out of the front left if you wanted to, but this is exactly where you want to be. Actually, the front right takes a little bit of a beating here too, so everything indicates that we're at Imola, which we are, so that's good. Everything seems normal. Let's take a look at, not total grip, what was it? Camber tire pressure, that's right. All right, so this isn't good. Rears are overpressured here. Fronts are a little bit overpressured, but the rears are a lot overpressured. And the fronts are really, really cambered. 10 degrees C difference between the inside part and the outside part of the front right. That's really high amount of cambering, to be frank. And an extreme amount of cambering in the rears too. We could probably calm that down a little bit. And I think we did with the custom, so. Temps you could see, let's go to the end of the third lap and see where the temps sit. So we're at 67 front right, 77 rear right rear. That's a 10 degree tire temperature delta. I don't like to see it any more than that. Actually, if there's any way to calm that down, I would. The Porsche kind of relies on early corner rotation, which really hurts that, especially if you like to have on power, like power oversteer rotation or like a power slip angle creation. If you want both of those things, which the Porsche naturally wants to do and naturally does by default, it's a great car, but you're going to run into these temperature imbalance issues with the tires. Just have to learn to live with it. Or you can nerf the car a little bit with the setup and try to slow it down. Not in love with the dampers on this thing. It's all stock. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change the springs. You can't change the dampers. So the damping is what it is. But it does seem like it's balanced as far as frequency here. Well, this is FFT. Really kind of hard to explain. But this is sort of like, it factors in how long you're in a specific suspension mode. And the frequency of the oscillation. So if you're looking at, a slow bump, it would be a low frequency. just like the word frequency and hertz. I think frequency is like how much it oscillates. And over here, high frequency is obviously quick. And these are like the high speed. This is the high speed damping range over here, and this is the low speed damping range over here. When you see these peaks here, these extra big peaks, it means that's the natural mode of the suspension. That's where it should be sitting. So if you're just sitting on the, sitting still on the tarmac, this is sort of like where it's supposed to be. That's the way I understand it, at least. I'm not a mathematician, but all right. So that is that. The differential seems to be opening up quite a bit. So let's take a look at the differential on the Porsche by default is 10 100 preload, 4 clutches, 60 power, 40 coast. 60 power, 40 coast is like, that's a homologated, differential setting for a racing series, a homologated racing series, 60-40. I don't even think you can change it. I think it's locked. So no, you can change it. Oh, that's good. You can change the whole entire diff. Okay, great. So let's load the custom. And I'm going to put in my custom settings here. Porsche Cup, custom. Do a quick QC to make sure that all the parameters are the same. Should be. I haven't fussed with this since the last time I tested it. I did make some changes, huh? There we go. Nothing we can do with these, just taking a look to make sure all the data's in properly. 6489, let's test that to see if that's the case. $64.92 is what I have here. Let's put 92. All right, so let's actually, reminds me, I want to check the defaults to see where those the suspension settings were. Let me load the defaults one more time just to be sure. 3020 ARB, okay. 7091. 6877. No, I'm sorry. 6889. Okay, that's better. Default. Save. Let's load it here, the defaults, to make sure we have good data. A lot of shifting parameter files with telemetry. If that annoys you, then you're not going to like it. Let me make sure the customs are loaded properly now. All right. Look good. Let's load the custom. Let's get rolling again. All right. Ooh. A little too much understeer there. Alright. I'm not liking how the car is responding to the wheel inputs. I already have maxed. Something off about it. Can't put my finger on it. We can't say it's that camber. That enormous camber that they had on the defaults. Just something feels a little bit weird. Maybe it's something I have to get used to. See, it certainly turned fine there, so it's something you have to be a little bit more aware of, I guess. When changing setups, there's always going to be some oddities. So I am getting a little bit more understeer with my build, and I probably can imagine why. And that's because of the temp difference that I saw with the defaults. I haven't driven either of these builds in over a month. Dukes of Hazzard. So there's a reason why I ended up with this car, I know that for sure. Seems to be better under the brakes. It'll be better on the brakes because the front cambers are flatter. That's it. It's not rocket science. You have to turn in a little bit more deliberately with this. Kind of anticipate the turn in. And then get like get the car rotated. But the Porsche certainly appreciates a lock differential. I remember this, it always has. Yeah, it's understeering at Piratella. But so much better, so much more controllable through Aquaman Raleigh. I loved it. And you can gain gobs of time there. Yeah, so I can see why I came up with this build. This is great. Kind of making little trades here. You can get that rotation that you need by just trail braking a little bit harder. Let the fronts keep digging in as you turn into the corner. I felt like you didn't have to do that as much with the default as you do with mine. Right there, but then it's right back where you need it to be. Oh yeah, just a couple of laps. It's like riding a bike. That's really great. Really solid. Just got to finish this lap up. I like the time. Excellent Ravazza there. A little bit on the edge. All right. I think it says 145.8. Let's take a look at RST. Yeah, 145.8, and I did 146.5, 147.5 with the defaults. So whatever you lose with that little bit of understeer and Piratella, you make up everywhere else. That's great. I am going to bank that one. That'll be my custom. That'll be my custom data for the build video. Let's see, GT folder, Porsche Cup 4.0, custom. Save it. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. Just making sure it's there. Let's go back to defaults, and I want to put an honest couple laps in for the data. I think I drove that one a little bit pedestrian. Let's restart. Let's switch back here. We'll get 3 laps in with the defaults, and then we'll call it a night. And that is the final testing session for my Porsche Cup 4.0 build after this. So let's get this going. Hold on, let me make sure it's on the default setting. When you're doing setup work, you're paranoid whether or not you have the right build on. You don't want to start a session and, like I did before, it's like such a waste of time. So you get kind of paranoid with it. So you're always like, oh, do I have the right this set? Do I have the right that set? Don't have to do 3 laps and then have to figure out you have to do it again. Yeah, I don't like that. I know some people might, you know, I just don't like that feeling of brake bias rotation. It just, I mean, it's fun. Okay? It's a lot of fun. Right there, you see how it goes into a slide? Let's not go off track, please. But I just feel like the car's all over the place sometimes when you have that. And you're constantly trying to saw it back into shape. Why? Look at that. I mean, like, you don't have to have it like that. I guess it's personal preference. Not mine. Okay, a little bit understeer there too, so that makes me happy. They both feature understeer. Whoa, that was generous. Look at that, I'm sideways, for God's sakes. Up the hill. Alright, so I think my best lap with the custom was 145.8 on test day. $146. See ya? See what I'm talking about? I don't even know. This is more fun way to drive, I guess. But it's, I don't know. It doesn't appear to be faster to me. Okay, so I'm gaining time on this lap. So I might be able to cut it down a bit. I just don't like how it slides there. I wasn't in love with the way my build handled Piratella. I hate the way this car handles that corner. Give me a break, dude. Ugh, it's awful. You have to be so deliberate. All right, so it looks like I got about half a second there. Even with that really crap Aqua Mineral, I didn't lose that much time going sideways. It's ridiculous. 146.3 versus 145.8. Half a second with the custom. You know, the builds in AMS2 have been getting better as the physics have gotten better and have the cars have gotten better, and they've been changing the parameters of the cars, changing the tire treads, and it's really showing. The default builds are manageable. I still don't like the way the temperatures are rocking with the default builds, but the times are there. The cars seem to like it. In any event, that's the Porsche Cup 4.0. or at least my version. Final test. The build's up on Imola, just like all my other builds already. I posted a TT time already, so feel free to check it out. The build video itself, where I'll analyze the data in more detail, will be coming out in a couple of days, hopefully. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.